Hey, buddy, and welcome. So here is LG Velvet on the same thing. As you can see, the video is quite small. You probably notice a little icon on the top right that's blue. I don't know if that will come on the video or not, um, but that's because LG Velvet for wired screen sharing allows it to change aspect ratio from phone aspect ratio, which will have a smaller um, top and bottom bar with a longer resolution, while excuse me, we'll have bars on the side for resolution aspect ratio on the screen itself. Now, you can see the resolution is not as sharp, but that's because I have to have the resolution drop down to 70%, and on high with 30 frames per second, I do have the ambient particles on. And I can't turn it to epic when I do the resolution aspect ratio to the TV, because then it kind of freaks out the game. It kind of narrows it and friggin' screws up the um, game screen. So yeah, so this is pretty okay. This is on 30 frames per second. It's sort of like doing a load stutter, but normally that gets away after you play for a little bit. But 30 frames per second, resolution 70% on high looks. It plays okay. Doesn't look as decent as a Samsung 8800 series Snapdragon ability, but this is pretty okay. I mean, what is it? This is like 700 gigaflops less than the Snapdragon 865. So it's pretty decent. There are some places that do tend to get a little bit more harsher than this, but they're not as bad. This is the most place that I've seen that gets very choppy frame rates depending on your phone. Now, the only other phone that I have that can't run at super crazy amount of performance is 200 gigaflops less than this phone, and it's running a Snapdragon 710. And that's the One Fusion, the Motorola One Fusion. I have to set at 50% of resolution with no particle effects or anything else on, and low settings. But other than that, it actually runs. Now, the Velvet has a weird kind of frame rate limiter system built in that is a little strange. So on the phone itself, it tends to feel kind of sluggish looking on the phone, but on a big screen, it actually seems pretty smooth. So I don't know what's up with their phone screen ability, but just seems kind of funky. On the Motorola, it actually seems quite smooth whatsoever. But again, Motorola doesn't have, for their Fusion, they don't have HDMI out, so you can't plug into a TV. The only phone I've seen that you can plug into a TV with video support is Motorola's Edge Plus, not the Edge, just the Edge Plus, and their Razer phones. But of course, I believe the new Edge S, aka the G 100, also has video out because they're having their desktop system be on that phone. But most of their other phones, their lower mid-tier phones, do not have HDMI out support. So yeah. But I mean, with the lower resolution, sorry for the yawn. With the lower resolution, it it doesn't look great because it looks like very bad anti-aliasing on the screen. But I'm forgetting where I am. It plays okay. Now this, on the other hand, does tend to have a little bit more harsher load stutter than on the Motorola or not the Motorola, the Samsung, because it doesn't have as much memory to withstand that effect. 6 GB of memory, half of what my phone has, is quite limited. And there's only about 2 GB of free space normally, because Android likes to take about half to more than half of your RAM ability, no matter what phone you get. I mean, you'll always find, like, if you get 16, if you get 8 or 16 or 12, you'll always find about half to more than half of your RAM is actually utilized for other stuff. So, for this phone, almost like 4 GB is utilized for most of the internal phone stuff. Here we go. Woohoo! Okay, I shouldn't have done that. Boing up, boing up. Anyways, see you guys later, and